This is what modern baseball looks like for the San Francisco Giants. AT&T Park. Pristine fields, splash hits, $8 beer. Ah, the sweeping stadium makes me tingle. This is what modern fans look like. They're by and large millennials who came for the Instagram pictures, the Snapchat stories, and the app-based scavenger hunts like the 20-somethings here. Or they coast by on box seat tickets supplied by their employers. And you can't tell them apart from the vaguely attractive guy in this Union Bank commercial.
There's the fan that goes out there for the event, for the ambiance, for the atmosphere, to see and be seen. They got their fingernails and toes painted orange. Just pick the swag, they're wearing it. They're there to enjoy the ballpark food, the drinks. Those are the kind of fans that you would see, say, on an opening day. I look at it like this. When you're going to a game at AT&T Park, you're going to an event. When you're going to a game at Candlestick Park, you are actually going to a game.
This is what baseball used to look like. Candlestick Park hosted the Giants for 40 years, from 1960 to 2000. Conditions were unpredictable at best, apocalyptic at worst. Did fans care? Well, yes, but not as much as they cared about supporting their team.
I'm a Candlestick kid, but Candlestick is like that relative that doesn't have a job, shows up drunk at Thanksgiving, causes problems for everybody. But when somebody outside your house says, hey man, your uncle, your cousin's a real problem, you say, you can't talk about my family like that. That's how I feel about Candlestick Park. It was ugly, it was cold, it was hard to watch a game there, but because it was our park, we loved it on some fundamental level.
And this is what fans used to look like. They were working class city residents when normal non-millionaires could still afford San Francisco. And when the city looked more like a fulfillment of the American dream than a penthouse for the tech boom.
I've always been a Giants fan since the 1970s. You know, my dad took me to Giants games out at Candlestick Park.
Probably earliest memories like Candlestick in like 1994, 5.
My first game I probably don't remember because I was too young to remember, but I had a lot of good experiences at Candlestick Park, you know, when I grew up. You know, a lot of old, I used to go on my birthday all the time. They usually had a doubleheader when it was a Saturday.
You got a true blue collar feel for these Giants fans that would come out. Ticket prices were lower. The teams, they were competitive. None of them won a World Series. You got a general feel for the 9 to 5 or the overnight guy that could take his family of 4 out to a game and enjoy a ballpark experience.
So, baseball has changed a lot, and there's concrete proof in numbers. The average price for a family of 4 to attend the ballpark, when you factor in parking, tickets, and food, was over $200 in 2015. $200! Today, games run on average 3 hours and 8 minutes, more than half an hour longer than they did in the 70s and 80s. When did the baseball landscape start to shift? Why? Why is it so different now than what it was like for the better part of a century?
Well, certainly for Giants fans, things have changed dramatically. And there's one main reason, and it's AT&T Park. That is the single biggest thing that's happened in the history of the Giants, other than moving from New York to San Francisco. Them building that park changed the culture of the Giants entirely.
Without the grandkids, we probably come to, you know, about a dozen games a year, something like that. Yeah. With the grandkids, maybe a little bit less because it's a little more work, you know. It's harder to get 5 tickets.
It's a lot more expensive. A lot more expensive. I remember going to like games 10 years ago when they were in a drought before Lincecum came, and it was like you get tickets for like 10, 15 bucks, but now it's triple that.
As sports has gotten to be a bigger business in the time I've been a journalist, there's always been this kind of push, like what can we do to make baseball have higher ratings, make it more profitable?
Because the Giants are who they are and they've won 3 World Series in the last 10 years, they are in a position where they can dictate. And unfortunately, fans, especially the true fans that really live on a budget, can't experience that.
Is this how baseball will carry on, with the new fans growing in numbers and the old fans slowly dying out? Is baseball on the decline? Is baseball dead? No. Of course not. I just like being dramatic. There are ways the Giants have lost touch with their fans, but also ways they've made new connections.
I think you have to stick with the times. You have to be able to, utilize technology where it's going to benefit, the fan and the club. When we were introducing this kind of new group of players with Buster Posey and Tim Lincecum and Madison Bumgarner and that group, our goal was to really create a much more human connection with our players, to see what the players are doing off the field as much as they were doing on the field, so that if you're a fan, you want to root for these guys because they're really good guys, not just because they're a great catcher or they're a great pitcher. The Giants have done a really good job of celebrating our past, but we also celebrate the future as well.
Sometimes you have to take the bad with the good. Ann Killian and Brian Murphy and Stacy Slaughter and Vern Glenn and the fans, of course, all showed us that we need to look forward while still holding on to the things we've always loved about baseball.